Hey guys, we are back for some more Phoenix Wright. Again, this game is really long. So yeah, today is the trial. We met some more characters. Well, one actually. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm a little out of bed today. Got a stubby nose today, Sheldon?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, me too. Just that time of year, okay? Just that time of year. It's alright.
Yep.
So, yeah. So we are going to find out how today's trial is what's gonna happen. So, whenever you're done, Sheldon, take it away.
I think I'm almost done.
It's okay, we can listen to Kingdom Hearts music. We can just listen to Kingdom Hearts music.
Yes, we can. Okay. It's a little loud.
It always starts that way.
Okay. December 30th, 9:41 a.m. District Court. Defendant lobby number 5.
Good morning, Max.
Still loud. Oh, yeah. Good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it.
Oh, okay.
Only one person says tee-hee.
Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. For Regina.
How fabulous, my sweetie pie princess. You came to watch my performance today?
Of course I did.
Sora says, I know who did it.
Sora, you made it.
The culprit.
The culprit.
Yes, the culprit did it.
Well, who is the culprit?
I don't think he's gonna tell us.
Well, you already figured it out last stream.
Mm-hmm.
Like mid-stream when we found the note. You figured out like when we found the note.
Yep.
Mo told me that I should come and watch this.
Mo said that?
So what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess. You'll fly at the end.
It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties?
Huh?
I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't... Yeah, she doesn't seem to realize what's going on, or even where she is. Sora, do you remember who the culprit is in this one?
Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. So I'll see you later today. Today, I'm just a member of the audience. Today, I'm just a member of the audience. There.
Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Yes, he does remember. Okay.
Good luck, Max. You're the best. Regina's different. Don't you think, Max? Nick?
Top of the morning to you. Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go? Mo. Top of the morning to you, Governor. Top of the morning. That's the ticket. Attacking the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms lack higher brain function. Here, Max, I brought you a present. Have some milk. Oh my, thanks. So how are you today, Miss Wright? Well, I've got the feeling that today I'm going to face off against the real culprit. You mean Acro.
Huh? Do you think he did it?
Be careful. He's used to putting his life on the line. Literally. He's got guts to spare. If all I've got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is, I'm used to it already. It just means that I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses.
What are you going to do then, Nick?
I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. Today, we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro into the truth.
You're right. But it's gonna be tough.
Anyways, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father.
You want us to make sure Regina watches?
Yes, that's why I brought her here to court today. What's that supposed to mean? She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars.
They have to go somewhere, don't they?
Summer 30th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 2. Yeah, see, I think it's Acro.
Well, I'm as lost as always. To be honest here.
Court is now in session for the trial of Maximilian Galactica.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. Oh yeah, Sora, can you hear us okay?
I always check the microphone's red light, see if it's blinking or not.
Right.
Because I know if it's blinking, it's muted. If it's not, we're okay.
Yes, okay. Cool.
Okay, cool, you can hear us.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von Karma, you may proceed with your case.
The prosecution would like to revise the previous theory of the bench.
What's the meaning of this?
We have discovered a new witness. Or shall I say, a new eyewitness. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly from the scene of crime.
Order! Order! I had a feeling something like this would come up.
Due to
Revision.
revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation that the prosecution full percent if the need is so right. In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene on my orders.
Poor Gumshoe.
Very well. Please call your witness to the stand.
He needs a new job,
He does.
so he doesn't have to deal with her all the time.
Seriously. Okay.
Like seriously, what do you think? What job do you think Gumshoe should have that doesn't involve Miss Von Karma? That would fit him.
I mean, his name is literally Dick Gumshoe, so a detective.
Yeah, but like, what other job based on his personality? and
Maybe a
stuff?
private investigator.
I said it doesn't involve Miss Von Karma.
A private investigator. Private investigators aren't with the cops.
They're not. I thought
No,
they
they're
were.
on their own.
Oh, I thought they were.
No. Time to get to work. Or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope.
Name and occupation. For real this time.
Ken Dingling, but everyone calls me Acro. I am employed as an acrobat at the Very Big Circus.
Where were you at the night of the crime?
I was in my room that night. If you look at... Oh, sorry, that's Von Karma, not Acro.
Usually I end up accidentally doing Phoenix's voices. You did mine this time.
Right.
Are we just gonna like switch characters at some point?
Right.
Like seriously. If you look at the map, you will see the witness's room is near the crime scene.
My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window.
The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed?
Okay.
Also, are animals allowed in the courtroom?
Hey, Polly.
Oh yeah.
It was just after 10 p.m., and I was resting in my bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then, a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming.
This witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown.
If that's the case, there is very little prosecution need to add. All that is left to explain how the defendant disappeared into the night sky that night.
Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness.
Yep, here we go. Straight to the foolishness. A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool. What the heck? This sounds like poetry. Really dumb poetry.
Really dumb poetry.
Seriously, that's what it sounds like. Or should I say foolish poetry?
Oh.
A man must know the proper timing of things, Mr. Phoenix, right? Just like your odd friend, Mr. Mild Edgeworth did.
Old friend.
Oh, old friend. I thought the L was another O.
Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony?
In the words of Miss Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There's no way that actually happened.
Very well. You may proceed with your cross-examination.
Like, I can see a contradiction, I just don't know how to prove it.
You do?
Yeah.
What's the contradiction?
I always saw him from behind. Everyone else is saying I saw his face.
Ah. You said that you were resting in bed. One would thus assume that you turned the lights off in your room, correct? That's correct. But there are safety lights around the outside of the lodging house. It's so bright, sometimes it can make it hard to sleep.
If that's the case, wouldn't it be a good idea to close some curtains?
I never really thought of that. I guess that means I'm off to buy some curtains. Wow.
Okay.
Sometimes I do make myself useful in these chambers.
Yeah, very rarely though, Judge. Ow!
The witness will proceed with his testimony.
What are your thoughts on Franziska von Karma, Sora? Because I know that you don't like Manfred.
Here are my thoughts. She's the worst poet ever.
Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Your room is on the 3rd floor, right? Yes. And you said that you were resting in bed. That is correct. But you were still able to hear a sound from outside. I was indeed. Pressing acro doesn't seem to get results. Maybe something was contradictory in what he said just now. There's nothing wrong, or there's contradiction.
What do you think?
Sora says she's very snappy.
Snappy, yes.
That makes sense. There's a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given.
If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence.
She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction?
No.
We should have saved.
This, totally.
What in the world is this? Ow!
You just don't get it, do you, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
What don't I get?
You're not going to be able to get through this with one of your usual... Oh, with one of your usual bluff. 13. Your current looks... Your client looks to be ready to take off once again. Straight toward the guilty verdict.
You are bluffing? I will not forgive any more mockeries made of this court. Whoops.
Witness. Would you mind repeating your testimony?
Certainly. It was just after 10 p.m. and I was resting in my bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. Are you sure it was a human being? It could have been a mannequin, or perhaps a large action figure. Well, setting aside the possibility of a mannequin, an action figure is plausible.
You have... You have no need to mince words with Phoenix Wright, Mr. Phoenix Wright. testify to the truth and only the truth. Just as if we were there with you that night.
I believe it was a human. Damn, I just strengthened his testimony. Wonder if Echo's statement jives with the facts. So I think each thing is going to have a contradiction possibility. So we have to find the one that's actually a contradiction.
So actually I had an idea.
Yeah, what's your idea?
Mannequin. Not the mannequin, the bust.
What's the matter, Mr. Wright?
Nothing, Your Honor. Till I can find a clear contradiction. I should tread lightly. Well, we can try it. There's a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given.
Yeah, we already did this. I want to try this.
What in the world is this?
Nope.
See what you could guess.
Right? It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true. I was going to bed after all. So with the lights off, you're still able to clearly see a human fly by your window. The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see. But honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front.
Did you see any of the other symbols?
I clearly saw the silk hat, as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica. The more I press him, the less results I seem to get. But maybe there was something fishy with his latest bit of testimony.
Like I said, there is a contradiction, but I don't know how to prove it.
No? Okay.
What's the matter, Mr. Wright?
Nothing, Your Honor. Until I can find a clear contradiction, I better not overdo it. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. When did you start thinking that what you saw wasn't a dream?
That's not important.
I believe that the prosecution has done a bit of maintenance on the witness's memory.
Just to make sure, let's ask the witness. Ow!
Objection.
Sustained.
Don't sustain that.
Akra must be lying about what he saw, right?
Of course he is. Now the challenge will be to expose his lies in court.
Well, to put the pedal... Well, put the pedal on the metal, Nick.
Alright. Where's the contradiction?
Absolutely zero idea.
It's gotta be with this, right?
It has to be, but how do we prove it?
I don't know.
Nor do I.
Any hints, Sora? If you can remember what you're supposed to do here?
Because we're lost.
It's got to be something here. Oh!
So you got it?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I figured it out.
What?
Okay, so he said, what did he see that made him think it was Max?
The silhouette of the silk hat and cloak
Okay,
and a perk. He
Okay.
only saw the back though.
right. So, our attorney's badge, the Magatama, the crime photo, the silk hat that was found at the crime scene, the paper showing that Max got a raise last week, the poster showing his 3 symbols, the broken bottle, the map of the circus, Money, the monkey, Leon. He died. 20-pound wooden box, pepper bottle, Grand Prix photo, note in Regina's pocket, bust of Max Galactica. So, he saw Max float past his window, wearing his hat and his cloak, yeah? When did he see that?
10 p.m.
Yeah, after 10 p.m.
After 10 p.m.
Because remember, Mo saw it too. And it happened after the Ringmaster was killed, yes? So if you floated past the window with the hat and coat, am I on the right track here, Sora?
Well, I don't know what track you're even on, so...
Look, there's Max. I can tell because he's wearing his cloak and his silk hat. There he goes, away from the crime scene. And what's left at the crime scene? Sora says, yes, I'm on the right track. Okay, cool.
Silk hat.
What?
What was left of the crime scene? It's silk hat.
In the body, yes. Okay. So the body, the box, and the silk hat.
You couldn't have seen the hat?
You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that? What do you mean? The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering the state that I'm in. Just looking outside of the window was a tough enough challenge for me. That's a shame, because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene. That's the Ringmaster's hat, right? Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has 2 silk hats?
No, this is a handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand.
Order! Order!
As always, it looks like someone just had to open their mouth before speaking. You okay, Nick?
Well, I opened my big mouth, and now I have to back it up.
How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury in this court today?
He has a grudge against Max, Acro was dreaming, or Acro was the real culprit.
Not the middle one.
Okay.
The middle one is not an option. I'm glad it gave us a chance to save there.
Think about which one it is while I get a drink.
She only has a grudge on Regina, so not Max. So that one's not it. Then I already said Acro wasn't dreaming. No, that's not it. Doesn't make any sense. It has to be the third one. Right? It has to be the third one. Yeah, definitely. By the way, how's the tooth of yours doing?
A little bit sore, but manageable.
Mazel. Not like the first time, like
No.
when you had to get up every 5 minutes just to get a nice cue.
Seriously. Not like that at all.
Did it with the first case. It was only like 10 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
But your stupid tooth, man, and like an hour long.
Seriously. Okay.
So yeah, I did my math and I decided to go with the third one.
Your Honor, on this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself.
On this occasion.
Accuses Acro? What in the world are you accusing him of?
Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry.
Mr. Wright, are you serious?
Deadly serious, Your Honor.
Ha ha ha. I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to have learned how to try and grab an audience's heart and mind. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by
Theatrics.
theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book.
Really?
If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. And look at his birds. It's a beautiful bird. He's calm enough for it to... He's calm enough for it to almost be scary.
He's saying rather calm and collected.
When did he get a hummingbird? What's with the hummingbird? I don't understand the hummingbird.
Mr. Dingling, do you have any response to the defense's accusation?
I don't really need to say a thing, do I?
What do you mean?
Everyone, take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house.
That's true.
I understand that Mr. Wright is just trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things...
See, even a
Sliver.
sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is...
Yep. Ludicrous.
Lucas
Yep.
for them.
Insane. Ridiculous. Unbelievable. She's right. Way to pick on the disabled, you heartless cool man. Phoenix is a poopy head.
See that, Mr. Phoenix? Did I get it wrong? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this blue game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro was unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making claims to counter this as well. I can hear the sense now. Acro had an accomplice. That would make perfect
What do you
sense.
say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice?
Surprised it's only worth 1 pip. I'm surprised it's only worth 1 pip.
Right? Did he have an accomplice?
I'm gonna go with he did.
Of course he did. It's impossible for Acro to be the murderer in this case. If that's the case, then it's natural for one to consider possible accomplices.
You don't say.
Not good, not good. This isn't gonna end well.
Don't tell me you think you're going to get off Daddy.
What?
You must not have heard that sound just now. Maybe it wasn't clear enough. The sound of you falling into your own trap can be hard to notice sometimes.
Mr. Wright, it seems as if you won't be stopping at Acro, but will be making other accusations. If Acro did not have an accomplice, things are not looking good for you.
I understand, Your Honor.
Very well, let's continue. Who, perchance, would happen to be Acro's accomplice?
See, this is where I'm lost. Do you know?
I don't know, but I have a theory.
What's your theory? I'm honestly thinking the same thing. But then again, I'm also like, how would a monkey do that?
You don't say.
Uh-oh. This is suddenly looking very, very bad.
Don't tell me you think you're going to get off that easy.
What?
Oh, did you hear that?
Hear what?
How are you getting caught in your own trap? Blah, blah, blah.
Is it a game theory? It's just a theory. A game theory.
What a splendid accomplishment. I'm sure his accusation is built on a solid foundation.
Foundation.
Yes, Mr. Wright. Do you have any proof that this person you've accused was indeed an accomplice?
Now I'm really lost.
Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor?
this piece of evidence is lacking in persuasive power.
You didn't miss that sound, did you, Phoenix Wright, Mr. Phoenix Wright? You know, now you're receiving a penalty. Okay, that's new.
Ah!
What are you doing, Nick?
What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice?
I don't know anymore.
Well, I do have another theory. I had two theories for who it could be.
You had two?
Yup.
You don't say.
Uh-oh. This is suddenly looking very, very bad.
Do you have any proof that this person you've accused was indeed an accomplice?
How is that possible?
Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor? No, okay. See, my theory is that...
Keep us figuring up.
Yep. My game theory here is that Acro and Bat, both of them, aren't injured. They're faking it. I think Acro can walk. And he got Bat's help to do it. Or at least I think that Acro can walk. But I guess we can try. Of course he didn't.
Now then, there's nothing when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice.
Not this time, Von Karma.
What?
You're not going to sucker me into this one.
What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright?
There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself.
Oh, order! Order! What are you getting at?
Way to keep them on their toes, Nick.
Now I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry.
Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that?
I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed.
Alright. Then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix Wright. If this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right?
Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingley?
It looks like my original theory for who did it and how they did it seems to be right.
So you think the entrance, the lobby, the plaza, place, you know?
No, Acro can't leave his room without help.
Then I don't know where.
He was obviously here the entire time.
That's Acro's room?
Pretty simple, eh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. In that case, there can be only one correct answer. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster.
What? Are you nuts?
What say you, Mr. Dingley?
It's an interesting theory.
Where's this hummingbird? I don't see a hummingbird.
That's it? Considering that what you propose is impossible, yes, that's it.
I don't see a hummingbird.
It's only when he goes like this.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he's in a wheelchair, there's no way he could go to the scene or be the killer.
What?
Keep us from hearing it up.
Again? Did you figure it out this quickly too, Sora? You've got a point.
Seems you forgot once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Mo say that he saw Max, didn't he?
Whoosh. But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. You did figure it out too? Yes. Okay. Yes. I have this whole case figured out now.
I don't have a clue.
Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? What is it?
I understand some of your logic.
However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How did he do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet.
Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here.
She's right. I can't mess up here. I've got to give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster. And he did it while he was in his room. No doubt about it.
Time to enlighten us all. as to how Mr. Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright.
I'm gonna present some evidence.
So what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime of murder against Russell Berry?
What did he use? What did he use? Come on, I figured it out. You can figure it out.
The only thing that's coming to my mind
Yeah?
is the bus.
What's that? A picture?
It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the picture.
The bust?
I guessed it.
It's quite a large bust, and because it is life-sized, it is also very, very heavy.
Heavy.
Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window.
Ah!
See? This is how Acro was able to kill the Ringmaster.
This bird flew away.
Yeah. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust.
Order! Order! So you're saying the bust fell onto the Ringmaster?
A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit.
How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible.
Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust.
Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges?
Well,
Acro's not allowed for words.
he should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, 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 Acro. You can't run away from... Ow!
I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What?
Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get a proper testimony from the witness himself.
Testimony, you say?
Von Karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony.
The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond.
The defense's objection is overruled.
Why can't he see things my way once in a while?
Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony.
The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him.
Thank you. Ah, that woman will sink to any low to win a case. Acro's physical state. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the Ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think?
I have no doubts in regards to the witness's testimony.
It was impossible for him to lift the bust and stick himself out far enough to look. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the Ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries.
That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright?
I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination.
He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really.
Ugh, can't let her get to me. I've got to focus. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. Have you ever lifted up the bust before? No, I've never actually lifted it up with my own two hands.
But I should get to it, don't you think? I can't let money outdo me on this. Money? That crazy monkey has lifted Max's bus before? Do you see it now?
Ah, yes. There's a little bird.
Please continue with your
then-
testimony, Mr.
And then it
Dingley.
just flies away. Okay.
Yeah. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. Okay, so I'm thinking he actually is injured. So what have you been doing to keep in shape? Well, honestly, I've given up on training. I don't have any plans to return to the trapeze or the tightrope. You don't say. But no offense, I'm not worried about losing to you in a race or anything.
Neither am I, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I wouldn't lose either, Slowpoke. And Nick.
Whoa. How did the discussion turn to me all of a sudden? I suppose you could say that I'm stronger than the average bear. Stronger than the average bear, boo-boo. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. And why is that? Because if I were to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. I still haven't gotten much feeling back in my legs yet. So you couldn't have thrown that bust out of the window? There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. How long do you think your recovery will take? You have to remember that my nerves were severely damaged. I'm currently undergoing some extremely intensive rehabilitation, but it's still going to take a while before I'm back to 100%.
I know what that feels like.
Right?
Let me remind you of another very important point. If the winner was carrying the bus, she would not be able to see out below the window.
That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Why do you say it would be impossible? Allow me to explain. You accept that if I was carrying the bust, I couldn't see out below the window. Thus, there's no way that I would know the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, I suppose you've got a point.
Hey, Nick,
Huh?
what if you turn things around? Maybe if you think of it sort of like this. If you need a location of the ringmaster's head, then you could drop the bus.
That does make sense. If only I could prove somehow.
I know how to prove it.
That Akram knew the location of the ringmaster's head without looking down.
I know how to prove it.
Oh, do ya?
I know how to prove it.
Put it into words while I go swap my laundry that I forgot to swap.
Okay, so guys, you remember that? Okay, just look at all the beautiful little birds and tiara while I explain this. So, remember the note in a pocket that was on the bulletin board in the cafeteria? That said, I know what went on. Meet me in the plaza at 10 p.m.
Sora a joke? Tell Sora a joke.
Then look how many birds he has.
That's a lot of birds. Acro. What did you do? Tell him your joke. You learned a new joke. Tell him.
Oh yeah!
We did learn a new joke.
I was just explaining how I could prove this.
Okay.
How I could prove something. So I'll tell a joke and I'll explain it to you.
Okay. Tell the joke. Ready?
Okay. So, what do you get when you cross a dinosaur with a pig?
What do you get when you cross a dinosaur with a pig?
Any guesses?
Hold on. He's got to type first. Chance.
I know it's usually.
And no, it's not the snail joke.
So I said not the snail.
Not the snail, Joey. No, what do you get when you cross a dinosaur with a pig? This is Kat's new joke.
Oh. A pigosaur.
That's what Marcus said.
Is it lunch? No.
No, but just guess.
Thank you.
Well, I'm guessing there's no guesses right now. So
Sora said a Pigosaur.
it's better than that. But no, it's not Pegasaur or lunch. The answer is Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Pork. Ha! He said, I'm old. Lunch?
No.
Canadian bacon. Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know if you saw my tweet from last night, Mom. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, by the way, guys, I forgot to tell you guys something. I think some of you will find this quite cute. You see how he's talking to the bird, to the little hummingbird. Well, a few nights ago, Dallas walked in, my cat. He was mewing, so I mewed back. And after a while, we were just having a cute little conversation. It was adorable. And now when I mew to him, he just looks at me and sometimes mews back. So I can talk to Dallas now.
There you go.
I can't really understand him, but I think he understands me.
Okay, so Sora liked the joke, I guess. He said, heh. What's your theory? You said you knew the answer to this.
The note.
The note? Well,
On the bulletin board.
yeah, even with the note, he'd know where he was, but he wouldn't know exactly where his head was.
You know where he would be, though?
He knew he was going to be in the plaza. That's not precise enough. I think I've already explained things sufficiently. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bus on him, don't you think? If all you had to do was drop it, then it wouldn't have been a problem at all. If all I had to do was drop it, you're right, I could have done that. However, there is no way that I could land a direct hit on the ringmaster's head. So that kind of makes your theory a bit pointless, doesn't it, Mr. Wright? Acker was strong enough to lift up the bust.
The main problem is how he could have aimed for the ringmaster's head.
I wonder if we use some kind of tool to aim for the ringmaster.
Got the ticket, Nick. Show them what you've got.
I have to be careful. I have to find something that fits perfectly with the case.
I don't remember us finding any sort of tool. But maybe we overlooked something?
I know the answer. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Your theory was the note. Do you want to try the note?
Well, you say it, so yes. Nope, okay. It was a good guess. It was a good guess.
Friggin' Canadian bacon.
It was a good guess.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing, but that's all I got.
Well, how would he have known exactly where the ringmaster would be? Like, down to the inch. How do you get someone to be in a specific spot? Think of it a different way. So, the way we're looking at it right now is that he managed to find out where the ringmaster's head was and drop it. What if he already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head would be? How would he know that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, how do you know where a mouse is going to be for a mousetrap?
Bait?
Okay. Was there any bait that the ringmaster could have had? What could he have used to bait the ringmaster?
The box! What if you wasn't carrying it? Nailed it!
Acro, you didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add.
You're still hinting at things that is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough thought. How about you show us some evidence?
But
Are you
I
that-
did such a good job hinting.
Are you really that anxious to get beaten again?
Right?
Yes, yes, yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright.
Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box.
The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over.
The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here?
Who?
When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime.
I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense.
The moment that the bust came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear.
You mean
If the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box,
There would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim. Acro put the wooden box there. And then the ringmaster walked over, bent down to grab the box, and Acro knew exactly where his head was going to be there. Right there.
yeah, right there.
And where did they say the crime scene was in relation to his room?
Like 3 feet below.
Like directly below.
Yeah, directly below.
Mm-hmm. Almost like he could have opened his window and just pushed it out.
No.
Okay, so maybe he is paralyzed.
order, order, order! This is unbelievable.
Wait, does this mean I figured it out and you didn't?
What?
Usually you figure it out.
Well, I was really banking on the theory that he could walk. Because he's a liar, so what else is he lying about? Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now we just gotta keep going. And there's only one way to go from here. Forward.
So the next question I have is, who placed that wooden box at the scene?
It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Ow!
What did she say?
Allow me to whip some sense into you.
Well,
Ow, ow, ow!
The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when you lifted the box.
That's why the box was so specially made.
It's specially made.
Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature. The size of the box, the weight of the box, or the contents of the box.
Oh, what do you think?
Oh, I know the answer.
Give me a hint.
Think about it. What's special about the box?
Everybody kept saying that it was weird that such a big box would have such a small pepper bottle.
So you think it's the contents of the box?
Yeah.
The contents of the box prove where that his head would be in a specific spot?
Okay, no. Maybe. I'm gonna guess the size. It looks pretty big.
It's not that big. It's about,
20 pounds.
That would be the weight, not the size.
I'm thinking of living creatures now. Usually how heavy it is equals how big it is.
Right.
Like, look at Sparta, for example. She's like 12, 13 pounds.
Yeah.
And she's a giant furry bear with tiny legs. Not that tiny, but you get the idea.
Well,
I'm gonna guess the weight now.
the weight of the box would make it certain where his head was going to be when he picked up the box.
Think about it, 20 pounds. And it would take him
The box has a remarkable weight.
weight.
According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds.
Just to lift up this wooden box would have required...
Oh, I see. One would have to squat down, then lift up with their body, wouldn't you say?
That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large.
The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it?
That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place.
Oh. I'm sorry, who's the fool? Trying to do a hummingbird again.
Does he even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you've had to say.
I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box on the plaza?
Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done what he's proposing. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bust?
Yes.
Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria.
Then what happened to it?
I'd like you to try to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself.
That means...
You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bus from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bus from the cafeteria to my room?
You could have had some help. Mr. Phoenix Wright, explain that. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice.
Ah!
What if it's like one of those things where someone was involved in it but they didn't even notice? Like, have you ever seen the XYZ Pokemon series?
Mm-hmm.
Remember how Alon was, like, set up by Lysander?
Yup.
She was, like, tricked into getting all the Mega Evolution just to wake up as his... I don't know if it was his sisters or his friends, but it was her chest pin.
Yep.
It was to wake it up anyway. But surprise! It was actually so Lysander could take over the world. What else is new? Pokemon really needs to come up with better bad guy plot lines. Like, it's either like world domination or Pokemon don't deserve to be with humans, so we're gonna get rid of that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But anyway. Exactly. No, tell us exactly what.
Wow.
My tongue doesn't want to work. Let's do it. Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bus from the cafeteria.
Yep. We definitely have a problem here. But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happen once and for all.
All right, Mr. Wright. Let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bus from the cafeteria back to his room?
The monkey. It was the monkey, wasn't it?
A
Oh,
monkey?
did I nail it? Did I nail it? I think I nailed it.
Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size.
Oh, like when he stole the ventriloquist's ring.
So, what are you saying? The witness had a monkey steal the bust?
Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own, and then brought it back home.
Home.
Monkey lives in Acro's room.
Acro's room?
But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny.
Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record.
My, those are some very nice cards he's holding.
Yes, and they're made of platinum, which is very shiny.
Ah!
Acro. Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bust back to your room.
If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. Order! Order! I said order! Miss Von Karma! Where's the bust in question at this moment?
I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak.
This is a rather strange turn of events. But let's say that the monkey had not stolen the bust. What would have happened then?
Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon.
Wait. So you mean the bust was the Then you mean the bust was the murder weapon purely by accident?
It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer.
Moron! I'm sorry, who's the moron?
I'm sorry, I thought I was a fool.
Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that. Ow!
Don't seem so flamboozled, that's new.
That's not even a word.
It's not? Oh god. You're making up words now, Franziska. Especially by this fraud of an attorney. Excuse me, who's talking?
Fraud?
You've forgotten the absolute. The most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
And what is that?
You should know. You forgot that your fraud you forgot that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime.
Would you have a pet monkey named Money? That's to you and Sora. You wouldn't have a pet monkey?
I mean, they're interesting fact-wise, but other than that, I don't really think about them much.
He could, help you carry stuff around and stuff?
Mom hates monkeys, so I don't think she would let me.
She hates monkeys, she hates robots. Jeez. No, Sora says no. Just that. That's all it says. Just no. I would not have a monkey. Yeah, they're not exactly the cleanest.
Yeah, that's what Mom's most annoyed about.
Ah!
There is no reason to doubt the clown's testimony.
That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright?
Nick, don't let her beat you now.
I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. If you could have any animal from any game, movie, book, show to be your pet, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one, Sheldon.
Well, think about it, you two.
When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, The other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix, right?
You missed it? Oh, you missed the question? If you could have any animal from any book, movie, video game, TV show, anything, what would it be to be your pet? What would it be?
Who was the murderer? The clown saw.
Now I've got you thinking about two different things at once.
Yeah, you need to stop doing that.
Stitch. That
Stitch.
I should have seen that coming.
Stitch. Stitch.
I was
It's either-
thinking it would be Pikachu.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Pikachu, I'm thinking Dragon. I'm thinking all sorts of things. Scooby-Doo. I actually might go for Scooby-Doo.
I should have seen Stitch coming from Sora, though. Sora loves Stitch.
Is that like your favorite movie, Lilo and Stitch?
Ohana. Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten.
You do a good Stitch voice, though.
Thank you. I'm last.
Aloha! I'm not good at voice acting.
No, says Sora. No to what?
Oh, what is Lilo and Stitch your favorite movie?
Oh,
So what is your favorite movie? Now I'm curious.
well, based on the amount of times he's seen it, I'd say Iron Man 1.
See, he is a bit of a adventures. He's a bit of an adventurous
He is indeed a bit of an Avengers.
guy. I'm trying to. What's the word?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Which one?
Yeah, there's a few Spider-Man.
All right. Also, who was the murderer? And what animal would you have?
I'm pretty sure I would start with Scooby.
Scooby? Yeah.
I've known that dog since I was like 3 years old.
He'd eat all your snacks.
I like to eat too.
Yeah, well, he'd eat them all before you could eat them.
Unhook me and I will prove you wrong.
Yes. Oh, I said which one, and you said yes. Okay. Check to make sure that you aren't behind. Make sure that you're live. I know that there's a delay, so I just want to make sure. Okay. Who's the murderer? And you already answered Scooby-Doo. So who's the murderer the clown saw? Because the clown clearly saw Max's face in silhouette, along with his hat and his coat. I'm not behind. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. Because again, I know that YouTube has a pretty big delay.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, do you think you saw a person?
No.
Do you think you saw an object?
Again, the only thing that's coming to my mind is the bus. But I don't think that's right.
He saw Max's butt. Ow!
I asked who was the other person both saw that you saw the thing. That evidence has nothing to do with the question.
Au contraire, mon frère. It does indeed have something to do with the question. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw.
But how is that possible?
It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust.
What are you talking about? Have you tried using brain at all in this case? Yes, I have quite a lot, actually. The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak.
There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. It would be easy to hang one off of the cards in the bust's hands.
Idiot. Who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust?
It doesn't matter who put it on the bust.
Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is of the utmost importance in this case. Don't you agree?
Oh, he caught me.
So let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust?
What do you think?
Well, I mean, I would assume the murderer. But if he just dropped the bust, then maybe not. I mean, it could have been the victim. Do you ever see if his eyesight's really bad?
Maybe he's like, oh, Max, you followed me out. Here, let me put your cloak on for you.
But it was falling onto him.
That's true, so it couldn't have been him. Okay, so let's see. We'll process for elimination. Could it be Maya?
No.
Could it be Max?
No.
Could it have been Ben?
Uh,
Could it have been Gumshoe?
definitely not.
Franziska?
No.
Regina?
I don't know.
Well, Regina's a possibility. Mo. If we're assuming that Mo did not lie about anything, then he wouldn't have put the cloak on. Acro could have done it. Bad is in the hospital. I think it's Acro.
We'll go with it. We'll go with it. I wonder, Mr. Phoenix, right? Didn't the defendant wear his cloak the entire time he was at practice? So then how did this person get a hold of the cloak?
Well,
Okay, not this. Furthermore, how would this person have gotten the cloak onto the bust, I wonder? Because this person was not spotted at the scene.
I'm sorry. When she's so nice about telling me I'm wrong, it hurts even more. Ow!
The famous on cover. What?
What?
Carrot and whip? What does that even mean?
Have you heard of a carrot and a stick? There's two ways to get someone to do something. A carrot and a stick. It's how you get a donkey to do something. You can either dangle a carrot in front of its face, offer something nice that it wants, so it'll move forward, or you can jab it in the butt with a stick, which makes it want to move forward, away from the pain. So there's two ways you can get someone to do something. Either be nice to them and give them something, or be mean to them and cause them pain.
I see.
So she was nice to Phoenix, and then whipped him. So she did both.
So let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust?
I mean, the thing that's throwing me off is the fact that there's no other footprints. Meaning no one could have put it on the bust after it fell. Which, throwing a theory out here, makes me think that Russell took Max's coat when he left the ringmaster's room. He took Max's coat because it was super cold out. And remember, they saw him walk past. Ben saw who they thought was Max walk past. So he was wearing the coat and the hat. The hat was found at the scene of the crime. But was the coat found at the scene of the crime? No. Meaning the coat somehow got onto the bust. Meaning it must have gotten snagged.
And how we prove that? And we need to go back because we only have 2 pins left.
Alright. It was Russell Berry.
Okay. Oh, him?
You're saying it was the victim himself, Russell Berry.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, the victim himself. Place the cloak on the bus.
Place the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it.
Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright?
Explain yourself. I mean, do you really have a handle on all this?
I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright. So you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Acker used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached that rope to the bust and dangled the bust out of his bedroom window, directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than a ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acker took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At the very instant that the bust hit the victim,
If you just wait a second there, Mr. Wright, Mr. Phoenix Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be.
it's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet.
What?
Whoosh. And that's why you didn't see the roses. The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak up, which snagged onto the bust. That impact also caused the sound a certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Moe Curls, the clown. When Moe looked out of his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acker naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Moe saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it, primarily because in his wheelchair he couldn't see out of his window. So he just kept pulling the bust up, which made it look like Max was flying.
Ta-da!
And that's how the magical murderer disappearing into the sky came to be.
Ta-da!
So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. Acro, it could only have been you. He's awfully calm.
I was like, he's all chill. He's like,
Talking to
yeah,
authority.
whatevs.
Acro's been playing mind games with all of us.
He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now.
So,
What now?
you graced us with a rather long-winded tale.
Long-winded.
It's okay, I couldn't tell if that was winded or winded or whatever. But you
Trying
have,
to stop in place, you gotta stop within 15 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't do too good last week.
but do you have any evidence to prove that the fairy tale is true?
Evidence?
In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip.
Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence?
Nick, they say they want evidence.
I just explained how there can only be one possible murder weapon method. There's still something unusual about Moe's eyewitness account.
Unusual?
A contradiction, actually.
Okay then. Use that and get out all of the chance. Get what? Get out. Then get out the chance. Okay?
There you go.
That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic trick. I tried.
Hard proof that we unraveled the trick. The only thing I can think of is the fact that there were no footprints. If Max was there, he would have left footprints.
I hope we can prove it.
Try again.
If they had been silent for 2 more seconds, I would have screamed.
Okay. Wait, when did we last save? Okay.
If I remember if you reminded me what his eyewitness account was. Hard proof that you've unraveled the trick to this magic case.
We only have one chance. We have one last chance.
Okay, if it's not the fact that there were no footprints, maybe it's the fact that the silk hat was found at the scene of the crime, but Mo saw Max fly off with his hat. The problem is Max's 3 symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses.
Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings.
Yesterday, there were 2 contradictions in Mo's testimony.
The cell cat was one. The white roses were the other.
But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions.
You fool. Do you ever shut up? Who's talking?
Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday? He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bust's.
Makes sense. If you look at it that way, then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of.
I'd trust... If I got in trouble, I'd trust Phoenix Wright to solve my murder.
Technically, you are Phoenix, right?
Right?
So, I don't know about that. But, you've got one. So, what about the other contradiction?
The other contradiction.
Remember that? Remember what that ventriloquist guy for? He said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony that doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try to explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick?
Of course. I can explain all of it.
What was that?
Please recall the incident when the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the white roses? Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust.
Ah!
Which explains why Mo didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust.
Order! Order! This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads.
But Nick, maybe Ron Carmel will finally throw in the towel.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, no.
Well, so much for that theory.
Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't? If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track. Why is that?
Motive. This one feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. What if he meant to kill someone else? Your Honor, I like to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster.
Acro's motive.
It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel this is a good place to take a break.
Thank you, Judge.
I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess.
To be continued.
Okay, outro. Okay, guys, well, I have to go in about like 5 minutes, so to OT, so we gotta go. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. And we will see you soon for more on Friday. I almost said Monday, but no, today is Monday. So yes, we will see you there. So, bye guys!
Farewell.